Hey folks, this is CHRISCRAZYHOUSE, and I'm here to give my review of Captain America Civil War, directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo, starring Chris Evans as Captain America and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. This was the big one, guys. This is the one I've been looking forward to, and this is the one that's been hyped up all year long. So, did the movie live up to the hype? Well, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about some of the plot points. As always, my movie reviews do contain spoilers. So, if you have not seen it, please go see the movie first, and that way you can not be spoiled, and you can comment in the comment section and let me know what you guys thought of the movie, as well as some of my thoughts and feelings on it. As always, I'm going to be doing a drawing. I'm going to do a drawing of the Black Panther fighting the Winter Soldier, and you can watch me draw while you listen to my movie review. First and foremost, I'm going to play a quick ad, and then I will be back with the main review. Stay tuned, we'll be back in 30. Alright guys, let's get started with this review. First and foremost, just let me tell you, yes, I enjoyed the movie. It was very well done. A lot of great action sequences. Very well done story. There are maybe two gripes that I do have with it, but they're real small, real minuscule, and I will talk about them at the end of this review. As far as the plot goes, where we find Captain America in this movie and the rest of the Avengers is the world has gotten a little bit tired of the Avengers by this point. They talk about, the Battle of New York, the battle in Sokovia with Ultron, some of the other battles, the battle that Captain America had in his last movie in Washington, D.C., where those three big helicarriers crashed down. And I'm surprised they never brought up the fight that Iron Man had with the Hulk in Africa. But there's another incident at the beginning of this movie where Captain America and his group of Avengers are tracking down the villain Crossbones. And, of course, a big explosion happens and it blows up some diplomats at an embassy. So the world is pretty much tired of the Avengers, and they're kind of tired of the amount of destruction. Yeah, people are grateful for the help and the saving them from these big threats, but, it's like you guys just cause all the destruction and then you just walk away from it. You don't really take any responsibility for what happens at the end. So where we are now is the world has come up with some laws and an accord between several different countries where they want to sanction the Avengers and say you can only act if we give you the leeway to act or if we call you. There needs to be a world council. There needs to be some decision makers, and you guys just can't be going out willy-nilly on your own and just, being vigilantes. So it splits the team in half. Of course, on Tony Stark, Iron Man's side, he does agree with the Accords because, he's been feeling guilty about a lot of things that have happened, and he wants to amend things. He does believe that the Avengers do need some regulation. Captain America disagrees, and I can see where both sides are coming from in their mindset. Like, let's think of where the characters are coming from just based on their other films. At this point, Captain America, he's lost everything from his past. He's kind of there by himself. He even lost Peggy Carter at the beginning of this movie. You find out that she has died and passed on. He goes to her funeral at the beginning, so he feels all alone. But also, as far as Cap goes, he doesn't feel comfortable in this time, nor does he trust the way things are done during this age. Because you have to think about it. Just in the last movie, we find out that this group that Cap was working for, Shield, was really all this time being controlled by Hydra. So what could stop something like that happening with the Avengers, where the Avengers are being sanctioned by the government, but then there's someone evil in charge of all this, and they're sending them somewhere to hurt more innocent people. So I do see Cap's side of it, but I also see Tony's side of it, and let's think about where he's coming from on this. Tony, as someone who he's the catalyst for all this to begin with. He was the first to come out as a superhero and be a superhero. And he had come from a place of already being a little bit guilty because all his weapons were causing so much destruction around the world. And that's why he created Iron Man and became Iron Man in the first place, to put a stop to that. And even the character of the Vision mentions this. He's like, since Tony Stark has come out as Iron Man, more metahumans have shown up and more threats have shown up, and it just keeps compiling and compiling exponentially. And of course, when these forces clash, there's going to be so much destruction, and people are going to get hurt, innocent people. So they do agree that there does need to be some sort of regulation, and I can understand that, because as a person, if I was living in this world, I'd be like, yeah, these guys are cool, but if my city got destroyed, are they going to pay my bills? Are they going to help me? Are they going to do some sort of relief if something happens to like my family or happens to me? So it's something to think about. Now, that was the main plot, and I'll let you guys see more of the movie so you can see exactly what happens and the main villain in the movie, Baron Zemo, and how he kind of caused this rift. But also, standout characters in the movie, of course, the Black Panther, one of my favorite characters, and someone who I was very much looking forward to seeing this movie, how they were going to treat him. Another standout character was, of course, Spider-Man, that Marvel now has the rights to use in their cinematic universe, and they're going to be sharing that character, this new Spider-Man character, with Sony, because they're going to do another Spider-Man reboot. And first and foremost, the Black Panther, I believe he did have a great showing in his fighting, as well as a great showing in his character, because already you can see, just in the short time that you see him in this movie, you can kind of see from the dialogue that he has with his father that the Black Panther himself is a little bit more xenophobic about the outside world. Like, it seems like his father is trying to get to the point where Wakanda can kind of share more with the rest of the world, and like he's the one that sent those diplomats to Nigeria so that they can have, more meeting of the minds, and to talk to the people, because he said he feels responsible because Wakanda's vibranium was used by Ultron in the last Avengers movie. So he kind of wants to bring Wakanda more into the outside world, and I can kind of see it in T'Challa, the Black Panther, that he doesn't really appreciate that, but he respects his father, he loves his father, and it almost kind of seems like maybe they had an argument before this about what's going on, but he's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to go with your play, Dad. This is the way you want to do things. This is the way you think is the best way to go. You're the king, and you're my father. I respect you. I'm going to roll with you. But of course, it doesn't work out, and his father is killed in the movie, so this sets Black Panther on a path of revenge. He thinks the Winter Soldier is the one responsible for his father's death. So, of course, he goes out to get revenge, and by the end of the movie, he has the biggest story arc as far as figuring out what's right, and I think he kind of comes a little bit more to his father's side after seeing all that's going on with the different factions of the Avengers, as well as his own quest for revenge. Like I said, Spider-Man was the other standout. I'm very eager to see how this character progresses in its solo movie. This is the first time we actually do get to see Spider-Man as a teenager, and he acts like a teenager and sounds like one. I appreciate the actor Tom Holland, what he did with the Spider-Man character. He was, having fun. He was also starstruck by seeing all these superheroes. He's a geek himself, and he makes his own gadgets. So he's almost like Tony Stark was, but the fact that Peter Parker doesn't have the money that Tony Stark does, he's kind of low-key, so Iron Man recruits him and kind of takes him under his wing. And so I'm very eager to see where this whole story goes later on. My other two favorite characters were the Scarlet Witch and the Vision. I very much look forward to seeing how their relationship grows. You can kind of see it growing together. For those who are comic book fans, you know that the Vision and the Scarlet Witch actually do get married, and strangely enough, yes, they do conceive a child eventually. I don't know how they're going to pull that off in the movies with an android having a child with a human woman, but we will see how it goes. But their relationship and how that develops is very well done, and you can see that the gears are starting to turn in his head, because there's an incident in the movie that causes him to question, like, why did he mess up? He should not be making mistakes. But he said he made a mistake and that he was distracted by the Scarlet Witch. So we're going to see how he grows as a character. Like I said, I really enjoyed his character. He's actually literally the most powerful person in the movie. But now he has this kind of setback. He already had a setback in the fact that he's not human and he's still learning. But now, and he said, even in the movie itself, he says he doesn't really understand the amount of power that he does have with that gem in his forehead. So I'm eager to see how his character grows. I'm eager to see how Wanda, her character, grows more and more. She's a really interesting character because she was feeling guilty at the beginning of the movie for causing that incident in Nigeria. But by the end, she kind of realizes, you know what? I can't help it how people view me. I gotta be me. I gotta stop being scared if I'm going to accomplish anything. So, like I said, very good movie. People are calling it the greatest superhero movie ever made. I wouldn't go that far. I would say it has one of the greatest superhero battle fight sequences in any movie I've ever seen, and that is the fight at the airport between the two different factions of the Avengers. And I think that this scene is actually on par with the Battle of New York. Like, those two scenes together are probably the two best superhero fight action sequences I've ever seen so far. So I had to give the thumbs up to the Russo brothers for how they directed it and how I don't know who the storyboard artist was, but they did a hell of a job putting this action sequence together and the stunt coordinators and everything else. Excuse me. The only two gripes I might have with this movie is, the Marvel movies, they always have the quips and just trying to get quick laughs and stuff like that. And for this movie and some of the gravity of what's supposed to be going on, I don't really like all the quips. But I mean, that's like a little thing. That's just a little pet peeve of mine. I know everyone else loves it. That's what they love about the Marvel movies. And I was just like, hey, it is what it is. I'm not complaining. Last thing is, another convention of the Marvel movies is having a kind of a neat little bow at the end. Because while the team does end being split up, it's still kind of neat where I don't think there's a whole more animosity. I think there should be more animosity at the end. And I think there should be more consequences by the end. Like, someone should have died, I thought. And the good candidates to die, I thought, would have been if Jim Rose, a.k.a. War Machine, had died on Tony's side and Winter Soldier had died at the end on Cap's side. I think that would have been good, but I was watching an interview with the writers, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, and they said the reason they didn't have anyone die is because they wanted the Avengers to remain apart until the new Avengers movie Infinity War comes out, because they want that to be the catalyst that brings them back together, this greater threat. And they were saying, like, if someone had died in this movie, the funeral would have been the scene where everyone kind of comes back together and kind of says, I'm sorry. So they didn't want that. They want to save that for another movie. So that's the only thing, my gripes with the movie. I thought there should have been more consequences, as in someone should have died. And yes, War Machine's a black character. I do not want to see a black man die, but I think it would have served the story well. Anyway, guys, like I said, I enjoyed the movie. Let me know what you guys think. And I very much hope that you enjoy my picture here of the Black Panther fighting the Winter Soldier. If you can kind of see there, he's kind of breaking his arm there, kind of got him hemmed up. So I hope you enjoy it. If you want to go see this art and more of my movie art, please go to my Facebook fan page. I will post a link in the description box. You can check me out on Facebook, and I'm also on other social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter. So please follow me, and as always, subscribe to me here on YouTube. I would very much appreciate it. This is my second channel, and like I said, I'm going to be doing more pop culture stuff. So please subscribe. I want to do some more types of reviews, not just movies. I want to start doing animation reviews as well as reviews of shows that I watch on Netflix. So that will be coming very soon, guys. Anyway, Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.